Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with part 1 of making the cover for the Autumn Garden Journal. The Autumn Garden Journal is the grand prize in the 2000 subscriber giveaway. And I'll talk about the giveaway here in a few minutes. I just want to get going on this paper that you see here. So what we're creating today is a gatefold cover for this journal. The journal itself is going to measure 9 inches by 6 inches. So that's my cover measurements is 6 by 9. There will be 3 signatures, 8 pages each. The spine will be 2 3/4 inches wide, and the max page size will be 5.5 by 8.5. And the reason for that is because I like to have a lot of laces hanging out over here on the right side of the journal, and with it being kind of boxed in, I'm going to be limited in that. So by having my max pages 5.5, but my width being 6, that's going to give me a half of an inch. Half of an inch. So I think that's going to be good. So I've already cut my chipboard pieces to make this, and so I've got my front cover is going to be 2 pieces, one measuring 4.5 inches by 9, the second piece measuring 1.5 inches by 9. The back cover is the size of the journal, which is 6 by 9. I will have 2 spine pieces, 2 3/4 by 9 and 2 3/4 by 9. And so let's get going. I will just give a disclaimer here. I tried this once and it was a disaster, because I used Tyvek tape to put all my pieces together, and it was just a mess. Then I had to gesso over both sides, and I'm like, you know what, I cannot present that to you guys. I am all about being free and imperfect and all of that, but it was just a cluster, nothing worth posting at all. So I decided I would go ahead and just try again. So this is the fabric that I intended to use. I still have enough that I can have it be a layer on the journal, but look at those beautiful colors. Absolutely gorgeous. So these colors actually match a lot of the tones in the kits that I'm using in this journal, which is kind of this blush color, fall colors, kind of pinkish light tones, really, really beautiful. So in order to be successful, I decided that instead of using tape or anything to hold my pieces together, which I never use tape, so I'm not sure why I felt like I needed to do that, but I did. So instead, we're going to cover the outside and the inside with just this muslin fabric. So you can see it is not very, it is somewhat see-through, but that's okay because we're just putting it on brown chipboard. So it's going to be fine. So this is the inside part. And the other thing that I ran into with my sample was that when I did all my folds and all the glue and all that, it was just because I was putting papers on the inside cover, and I had so many breaks because of the way this thing folds that it was just like, no, thank you. So I decided instead to go ahead and just use the muslin fabric. We're going to put it down here like this, and I'll show you how big it's going to be. I'm going to raise the camera up just a little bit so you guys can get the whole view here. Hopefully that's going to help you. So let's scooch over. There we go. So here is these are our front pieces. So again, front piece 1 is 4.5 by 9, and it is going to go over here. I'm just going to kind of generally put them in place. And then we have 1 spine piece, so I've got 2 cut the same, 2 3/4 by 9. So, and I will hold that piece of paper up, the white one, if you guys want to take a picture of it before the video is done. So our first spine piece is going to go here, like that, and I like to leave about that much. I can't leave a lot because the hinge that I'm hoping to use is this. Let me just show it to you really quick. Is this. And so the way that it connects with itself doesn't leave a whole lot of room. So if you can see that, it's just barely like a 1/16 of an inch. I still have to figure out how to put these on. I can easily glue them on with E6000, but then I've got these holes, so I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. I will play that by ear. So there'll probably be a second video where we do a little bit more with the cover, but for now we're just going to try to get the construction done. So that's why I'm leaving a little bit less than I normally would. We just want this to be able to open and close well. And I think I'm too close to that edge, so I'm going to scooch that over just a little bit. And I'm going to have to redo all this, but I just want to show you how I line it up and kind of how I think through this. So the back cover is 6 by 9, so same thing. It's going to go right here. And then this is our other spine piece, again measuring 2 3/4 by 9. And then our front cover, this is the second piece, which is the 1 1/2 by 9. And what it's going to do is all this is going to meet up, but it's going to be really hard for me to show you before it is glued. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this piece here so that I know what my actual edge needs to be there, because I've got a little bit extra fabric there. So we're just going to kind of fudge this over. I just want to make sure I have plenty on all edges, and we can fuss with this as well. I am going to be using my PVA glue. So I think what I'd like to do is start with one end, so perhaps this end over here. And so I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm going to grab a paintbrush really quick, so I can kind of smooth that out. I do need to grab my paper towels because this gets messy. I'm not too worried about protecting my table because I do have the glass mat and it cleans up beautifully, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm moving this over so you guys can see here, and I'm going to be I-spying the height here as I go along. So I'm going to put my glue directly on the chipboard. Hopefully my hands aren't working great. I'm on the very end of the recovery of this last illness, so I'm hoping that I'm in the home stretch here. So I'm going to bring this paper towel over so I can kind of smooth this over without getting it everywhere. There we go. And it's pretty thin fabric, so it's not going to really take a lot of glue or thick application. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this down, and again just kind of I-spying top to bottom and side to side that I have a good amount of border there. I like to have too much rather than not enough, so I'm just kind of checking that out. So we're just going to move from right to left here. I actually I watched Jools over at Jools Designs and JT Creations create a gatefold cover, and I'm not following hers exactly, but that is where I got the inspiration. I also watched Venus over at Heart's Desire by Venus that gave me some great ideas too. I'm not going to end up doing them on this, but she actually does, when she does her journal cover, she actually uses double-sided tape and then glue. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. But double-sided tape and me are not friends, and because I'm still at only about 50% capacity for making sense, I thought I'm gonna not try to do that. So I'm trying to just fudge that a little bit. I want to make sure again that this, oh, we're stuck to the table, that this is going to bend okay, which it looks to be just fine about there. And we're going to continue on. It's okay if it's stuck to the table, it'll pull off. Worse things have happened, I'm pretty sure. They have in my studio anyway. So again, I don't need a lot of glue because this is very, it's just muslin fabric, so it's kind of thin. We're already getting some marks though that I do not like. So I'm going to really rub that out because I do not want those lines to show if I can help it. I probably maybe should have put glue just on half and moved through that a little bit slower, but it's okay. I think that's going to be fine. There's going to be layers on this cover, so I'm not too concerned about it. So again, we're going to go ahead and put that piece down and scooch it over like so. Looks like we've got a little discrepancy between those two pieces, unless one is just not laid flat down, which is possible. So I'm going to scooch that over just a little bit, if I can. And we're going to go ahead and open this, make sure it can move okay. It looks to be all right. This one still looks to be all right. It's a little bit tight, but this one needs to be tighter because no, it's this one that needs to be tighter because of the hinge, but it's going to all be fine. It'll be fine. I promise. So in part 2, we'll come back and we'll do some more on the cover and figure out the hinge. Right now, I just need to focus on getting this done, since I already failed. Failure happens, though. That's how we learn. Some failure does not need to be public, though. And this was just because I was not feeling good. I mean, I wasn't at my worst, but I wasn't at my best. And so it was really, really not very sensical. So here we go with piece number 4. Again, just sliding that in. I'm I-spying it from top to bottom to make sure that it's nice and straight. We've got that moving okay. Looks good. Let me move this over a little bit so you guys can see. We're going to have some glue that's going to come up from the other side because the fabric is thin, and that is okay. You would want to be mindful of that if you were not putting anything else on the cover, but because I mean, I would never cover a cover with this light of fabric anyway, but you just want to keep that in mind so that you don't have glue spots showing through that you can't really control. So just smoothing that out, again being fairly aggressive because this glue, it creates those glue lines really fast. My favorite glue to use for bookbinding is the PVA glue, though. I will tell you that. It's very affordable. I think I paid like $11 for this, and I've used a ton of it. So, and there we go, our last piece right there. And again, I'm just gonna get that in lined up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and move it, make sure that everything is going to fold over okay. Like so. We just don't want to lift that yet. And then make sure that this one is also, this one seems to be a little tight. We're gonna manipulate that a little bit. Yeah, we scooched that over just a bit. Okay. I hope that we're secure there. And then that one should be okay. And then this one is a little tight. It's a little looser. There we go. So, the other mistake that I made with my other one is I cut my corners. I never cut the corners when I do this, so I am going to trim a little bit of this off because we ended up with a little bit more on this end than we need. And so I'm just going to trim it off. There we go. Okay, so hopefully I can keep this all in screen for you guys still. So we're going to start with folding the corners over, and that's how I like to do it. I've tried a variety of ways, and it never really works out as good as this does for me. So again, do what you like to do. I just use what is tried and true for myself. It just, to me, it gives a cleaner corner. So I'm just going to do that with all 4 of these corners, just by putting a dollop of glue there and then trying to get it at a 90-degree angle as best I can. Not super critical. I'm going to go ahead and turn this. So I was a super good girl, and while I was sick, I went to the doctor. They were able to help me, which was awesome. I've been with Kaiser for a year, and I've never been able to get in to see my regular doctor, a doctor who I've never met before. Fluke thing, I was able to see her this time, and I went ahead and got all my blood work. So most of it came back pretty good. Some things that are concerning, they're ongoing issues that I've not been able to resolve, such as extremely severely low vitamin D. And my cholesterol is a little bit high, so I am already on that. And I am not going to be that person because I am not going to take medication for cholesterol at my age. So, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm all up to date on everything other than going to the eye doctor, which the eye doctor bothers me the least of all. So I'm feeling pretty accomplished. You know, mammogram off the list. You know, I do have to go, I'll probably have to have a full physical with the new doctor, but that doesn't have to happen right away. So there we go. So our corners are ready to go. So I'm going to start with, actually I'm going to start with a long edge. So let's start with the bottom edge. So I am just going to go all the way across here with my glue, and I'm going all the way to the corner here because you have to have a place for this fabric to go as well, or this piece to go. Sorry, I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit. Probably need a little bit more glue there. Probably not being quite as generous as I could be, but we'll see. So I like to just really give this a good tug. So I pull, and I'm pushing it away from myself, pulling it away from myself rather, like that. Like so. I want to try not to have a lot of fold over there because we're going to have another piece of fabric that's going to come in and cover the inside as well. Not super concerned about, again, perfection is not at play in my studio, so I don't fret about it. I'm just going to pull that string off and try to get rid of some of that glue. So as you can see, the fabric is pretty thin, but I think for our purposes it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it so we can do the other long edge. Hopefully this is going to be okay. I realized that, you guys, I pretty much give away every other journal that I make. I was just thinking about, the last journal I made was my sister's For the Love of Blue journal, which was her birthday gift. But before that, it was the 1,500 subscriber giveaway where I made the journal for Evie. It was a design custom journal for her. And so yeah, it's the way the channel is going. It's like, wow, I only get one journal in between the next big milestone of subscribers. So, and we're already at 2,300 and something again. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Oops. Pay attention, Cara-Renee. We want to give that corner a little bit more care. There we go. That's better. You get really sticky fingers here, guys, so hopefully you guys aren't bothered by that. And probably what I will do on the inside covers in the next video is I will line the insides with paper. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. It's really more complex with more folds in this journal than just 3 pieces, so I'm a little bit concerned about that, but we'll see. Once it's covered, everything will be in my sample, or my failure rather. I had these gaps that I couldn't rectify, so covering it all with fabric on the inside and outside I think is going to solve that problem. So we'll see. I'm going slow on it, so do this short end, short side. Hope you guys are doing well. We have a Thanksgiving break coming just in no time here, which is just always so nice at school. So get a long Thanksgiving weekend, which I could really use because I'm behind on my life because of being sick. So it'll be good to catch up again, which seems to be my cycle. There we go. So these are a little bit rough, but I don't mind that because I usually put stuff again on the inside. So I will probably line these if I can. So I'm just going to wipe my table off here. All this excess glue. Ah, come on. I don't want the whole thing out. Wipes. So my table is epic. I don't know if you guys can see that. This glass mat is literally, I'm hardly even using any pressure, and that just comes off so beautifully. So yeah, this is going to be fine. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to do the other end. Probably should have waited to wipe my table, huh? I think I thought I was done. Foggy head. But I am breathing and I am still coughing, but not very much. So they put me on prednisone and a prednisone inhaler in addition to my regular inhaler, and some little cough gel thingies that are helping with the cough. So although the night before I filmed this I did not sleep at all because the prednisone, it elevates your heart rate and it keeps you awake. So that was fun. Not really. Okay, so let's see if we can get rid of some of these strings here. Not a really big deal, but if I can make them go away, I'm going to. Let's see if we can get a hold of them. My fingers are so sticky. So sticky. I think I'm okay with that. So let's just get that baby wipe in here again. Okay, so I'm going to clean my hands off because this is driving me bonkers. There we go. Better. Okay, so this is what it looks like on this side. So you can see it's pretty rough. We probably could go over that with a bone folder here and smooth some of that out maybe. I don't mind. It kind of has this variegated look, which doesn't bother me at all. Because again, it's not the only layer. And I actually think that having some of that brown show through might work better for my layering of my cover. This is not what I had in mind, but sometimes we do have to shift gears to make things work. So this is going to go here. Looks like it's too big. Thought I had trimmed it down pretty well, but it does not look to be the case. Yeah, we're going to probably have to cover this with paper because it's going to look really strange because you're going to be able to see all these lines. So we will probably cover this, but we will get to that later. So I'm going to go about to that edge. I just need to cut a little bit more of that off. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to just do that rough tear because then we get that beautiful fraying that I think is really cool. It's not cool when you're wearing the clothes that does it, but it's cool to do it with fabric. There we go. So I probably should have ironed it. That would have helped me out too. So that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and glue this on. And I'm just trying to, I spy my borders here. I guess I'll just start on one side because I don't want to rush. So I'm going to go ahead and apply glue all the way across here, all the way up, and then over, and then fill it in. A little bit more there. I don't want it to get too far out. I think I pushed that out on this side a little more than I wanted to, so I'm going to try to pull that in a little bit. It's not a big deal if there's overhang of glue. Not a big deal at all. And there probably is a better way to do this, but I do my thing, you know. I get the same result. So we are going over that edge, but again, it's okay. I feel like that's not quite enough though. A little bit more on there. Again, it sets pretty fast, so by the time I get into move it around, it's already sticking. So I'm just going to move this down like that and smooth it out. Let's make sure that we're kind of the same over here. It just matters to me that it's going to cover up, but we're not far enough over down here. Let me pull that. Paper towel. So I just kind of go like that, and then get rid of some of those wrinkles. It's going to look kind of rustic anyway. I think it's going to be fine. We're a little bit, we've got a little bit too much over here, so I'm wondering if I can still tear that a little bit. I'm going to try. It's kind of a small margin, so I might not have success, but we're going to try it. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. It's too little. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. Well, maybe. Let me turn it. Sorry for the rough bits, you guys. I'll fray it a little bit before we get going here. There we go. So let's see if we can get that frayed a little bit. Okay. Boy, that was rough. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are glued to here. So now we can go ahead and turn her around, flip this up, and do the rest. Hopefully I can do, I'm going to use a little bit more glue because I think that part of my problem is I'm not using enough, so it's not, the surface is not wet enough for me to get that glue moving around. So I'm gonna go up in here a little bit. Whoops. I would love to hear your experiences with putting a journal together in terms of your cover. Like, what have you tried? What are some of your tried and true methods? I would love to hear about them. We all have different perspectives to bring to the table, and we need them all. You know, we need them all. None of us are a volume of knowledge that can't grow, especially me. Again, I haven't been doing this for very long, a little over a year. So there we go. That seems better. Got some chunky bits up there. I'm going to wipe that out. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and pull this down, and I'm going to smooth it out. Boy, we got a lot more glue there. Goodness gracious. Look at that. We've got a hard line of glue there. I am going to get rid of that hard line of glue if I can. That's weird. It's pulling up the chipboard too. That's strange. Okay, so we're going to pull this down a little bit. Just really stretch that out. Stretch that out. Pull out our raw edge here. All the way around. I kind of like the look of that. It's very different. Very messy. There's probably a cleaner way to do this too, but I figured I was already stretching myself by doing this kind of gatefold kind of cover. So I'm going to wipe my hands off again. I'm going to turn this over and show it to you. Actually, I'm going to use that baby wipe because it's a little bit damp. So we're going to have to put some paper on the inside because that is just a mess. A mess. It does not look great, but that's okay. All right, so we've got some ooze and glue from our edges here, our folds, which is okay. So that's what she looks like. So the big reveal of what this will look like, fingers crossed. So this is our little, oh, I need to probably bone fold that so that we can get that really able to move. I forgot to do that. I'm just running my finger along there to kind of smooth out where we're getting some buckling because I neglected to fold that. That's going to be our hardest one. So we're just going to push that in. Got a lot of ooze and glue here. So like that, and that's going to get more and more flexible over time. I don't think we're going to be able to put paper on the inside of this. I'll probably have to just like do individual things on the inside covers to make that look decent. So, and then we're going to do the same here. I did not follow my own rules, so you should always get this going here. This that fold to make sure that it's not going to pucker like it's doing. You guys can see that, but it's okay. It is okay. So that is that. So we're going to give that a good push just to kind of train it. This one looks to be pretty good. Let's get the angle that I'm comfortable with here. Yeah, let's just do this one too. While we're here, got some glue oozing. Okay, so we're gonna do that with this one too. I'm just gonna get my finger in. Whoops! Oh man, don't do that, Cara-Renee. Get my finger in there a little bit to train that. Oh my goodness! Seriously, I must not have enough glue there. I might have to come and tack that down a little bit better. It's not dry actually, so usually you would want to wait. I'm not very patient. So, oops, we got some puckering there. So I'm going to just use my finger to train that a little bit. There we go. So here's the big reveal. So this is what we've got. So we've got our spine here, which is 2 3/4. We've got our spine here, which is 2 3/4, and it's going to meet here to create this kind of box shape for our cover. So like that. Isn't that beautiful? So off camera, I need to think about if there's anything that I can do here. If I was more careful with my papers, now that I don't have to worry about that seam showing, I should be able to cut papers. That's my preferred choice here, but we will see how it goes. I don't want to destroy this one, so we'll see. But that is that. I've got, I'm going to wipe my hands off because I want to show you something without getting my stuff sticky. But I picked up this really cool lace that I thought we would try on this because I thought it worked kind of well with this fabric. So because we've got some kind of, not a mauve, but it's like a, oh, here's a lip thing. So it's kind of like this. It's kind of this kind of really blush pink. And so I thought this might be really pretty to put on the cover. I may go and get more of this fabric because I don't have a very big piece left. We'll see what I can do, but I thought it would be fun to layer this up. Like let's say if that was straight, and then put some of this lace on top like that. Wouldn't that be just gorgeous? And have this kind of open edge down at the bottom. Oh, that is beautiful. I may have to go back and get some more of that fabric. I may do that. Let me show you what happened with my one, though. I'm so bummed about it because I put some I put some heat and bond on the back of this, but then my iron had something on it, and so it wrecked it. And so I don't think it's going to work because it's going to show unless I kind of went up. Yeah, see, it's going to show. So I'm really bummed about that, but this is a better piece than that, so I could actually just arrange it so that I lose that part because it's about right there. So if I cut that, I might be able to still have a strip here and then layer some of this lace. I just think this is absolutely gorgeous, and it will go with the kit papers really, really well, and the tones for this kit. I don't think so. I think I'm going to see if I can go back and get more of the fabric because I feel like that needs to be covered, but we'll see. I might not do that. I might just layer it differently. This would also be pretty. And then to build I typically like to build like a topper, so I could build a topper using some of that fabric strips, but we will see. I just thought I would show you that beautiful lace that I got at Hobby Lobby. So that is it, my friends. This is our Gatefold journal. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.